This lemongrass pork chop is one of my most popular recipes because it's incredibly flavorful and juicy. Plus, it's super easy to make. Now, typically we'd make these on the grill, but I know that's not always accessible, and sometimes you just don't want to go through all that hassle. So today, we're gonna make it right in the air fryer to really simplify the process and make this the perfect weekday lunch or dinner. So do me a favor and make sure you like, comment, share, and save this video. Alright y'all, remember to wash your hands. Now to a large mixing bowl, I'm gonna add in about 3 pounds of bone-in pork chops. And you can use boneless if you prefer, but these bone-in chops tend to be a bit fattier, which lends itself to a better and richer flavor. And just take a look at that marbling. Now to that, I have some minced lemongrass that I process in bulk and store in the freezer. Then we'll add in a tablespoon of minced garlic and some minced shallots. We'll season this with 4 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, and 4 tablespoons of oyster sauce. Now to balance out all those salty and savory notes, we'll add in 2 tablespoons of your choice of sweetener, and I'm just using dark brown sugar today. We'll finish our marinade with a couple tablespoons of annatto seed oil, and if you don't have this, any neutral oil will work here, as the oil is primarily used just for the color. We'll hit that with some black pepper, and we'll give that a good mix, making sure that all the ingredients and seasonings are evenly distributed. Now if you're planning ahead, you'll want to let this vibe out in the fridge overnight for the best effect, to allow the marinade to really penetrate through the chops. But if you're short on time, letting the pork chops marinate for at least an hour is okay too. Now while our chops are vibing out, we'll prep the rest of our ingredients. First I have a Roma tomato, and we'll just slice that up. Then I have an English cucumber, and we'll cut that into slices on a slight bias for the aesthetics. And you already know, anytime we have cucumbers, we have to pay the cucumber tax. And if you like this recipe and you want to learn how to make more of your favorite Vietnamese and Asian dishes, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay up to date on all my latest posts. Then to make our scallion oil, I'm going to separate the whites from the greens, and we'll just finely chop up the green parts. Now to a small pan on medium-high heat, we'll add in a generous amount of oil, add in our green onions, and we'll season that with a pinch of MSG and salt. Cook that for no more than 10 seconds, and that's pretty much it. Remove the scallion oil from the heat and set that aside. Now the last thing we'll need to do before we cook our chops is to make our rice. And to make this authentic, we're using broken rice today, but you can use whatever rice you have on hand. And if you didn't know the history of broken rice before, it's actually pretty interesting, because back in the day, rice farmers would process the grains as usual and sell off the whole grains to support their family. Now, they couldn't waste the leftover broken grains, so they'd use those grains to feed their family instead. And over time, broken rice started to become more and more popular, and today, broken rice is actually a bit more expensive than your standard grains of rice. Anyways, we're gonna wash the rice with cold tap water 2 to 3 times, or until the water runs mostly clear. And just like my standard white rice, my perfect ratio for broken rice is still 1:1, equal parts rice to water. We're gonna cook our broken rice in the rice cooker on standard mode, and with that done, it's finally time to air fry our pork chops. So first I'm going to spray my grate down with a little bit of oil, or alternatively, you can use some parchment paper if you prefer. We'll get our pork chops right on top, and then we're air frying these at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes, flipping halfway in between. Now, every air fryer is a bit different, so time and temp may vary just a bit, but the rule of thumb here is to cook the chops at an even temperature to ensure that the sugars in the marinade don't burn too quickly before the pork chops get a chance to cook through. And for the internal temp, we're aiming for 145 to ensure that it's safe for consumption. And once our pork chops are done cooking, it's time to plate. Now to a small bowl, we'll pack some of our broken rice and flip that onto our serving plate. Then I'm gonna arrange some of our tomatoes and cucumbers right next to it. We'll drop in a couple of our pork chops. And to make this an authentic bowl of gum thumb, I also have a piece of jat dung, or Vietnamese egg meatloaf, and some bì heo, or shredded pork skin that I made yesterday. The recipe video for both of these are also on my page, and I'll link them in the description below for your convenience. We're gonna finish our plate with our homemade pickled veggies and a little scallion oil right on top of our rice and pork chops. Serve this up with my traditional nước chấm. And just like that, you've made an incredible air fryer lemongrass pork chop at home. As always, the principal recipe is on my blog at feedthepudge.com. And if you've made it this far, let me know in the comment section, what's your favorite part of gum thumb? Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.